Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. In this video, we'll be going through different objects in Salesforce Sales Cloud. If you are preparing for a Sales Cloud consultant certification, it is really important to understand how different objects are related. Also, since it is one of the most important product from Salesforce, it usually comes in most of the certifications. Say you are taking admin or app builder, usually there will be some questions related to the data model in Sales Cloud. It's pretty complex data model with a number of objects. So initially it might be a little confusing when I show the whole diagram, but we'll break it down chunk by chunk and I will explain each object, what is its use and how each of these are related to each other. And hopefully by the end of this video you will have full understanding of all the objects in Sales Cloud and how it is related. Yeah, without much delay, let's get started. These are the objects that we are talking about. At a very high level, these are the objects that we are going to cover in this data model diagram. So there will be account and contact, lead, campaign and its members, product, price book. It's a long list, so instead of iterating all the names, let's jump directly into the data model. I will explain what is meant by each of these objects and how it is related step by step. So first let's take account and contact. So this is the whole data model diagram. It will be a little difficult to digest when you see it as a whole, but we'll go chunk by chunk and explain each of these sections and how it is related, so that way you will get a full understanding of the whole model. To make it a little easy, let's get started by highlighting some sections. Yeah, before that I hope you are familiar with this annotation in data model. So this arrow base kind of syntax reference that the lookup is in this object and it is pointing to this object. So in this case, account is pointing to contact is pointing to account. Basically there is a lookup field in contact that is pointing to account. Yeah, so at a high level, first let's get started with account and contact. As some of you already know, account is used to represent business entities in Salesforce and a contact is used to represent individuals or persons in Salesforce. There is a lookup in contact called account ID that will be pointing to account object. So it's a one-to-many relation from account to contact. Then account has a self relation. Basically you can establish a hierarchy of accounts. This is useful when you are trying to define a hierarchy of accounts. Say there is a parent company and this company has many subsidiaries, so you will be creating multiple accounts for each subsidiary and parent, and then in the subsidiary accounts you will be pointing the parent account lookup to the parent account ID or parent company ID. Similarly, in contact also, say there in a company there is a hierarchy of contacts and you want to represent that in your Salesforce instance, you can use this option. It is through reports to ID field. Basically, the parent, the child contact will have a lookup that is populated with the parent contacts ID. So that's the relation between account and contact. It's a one-to-many relationship. Account can have multiple contacts. Next one is lead. Let's see how lead is related to other objects. For the sake of Sales Cloud, we can say that it is kind of a standalone object here. Yeah, this is object we are talking about. But another one thing to consider is in lead object, once a lead is used to represent a prospect or a potential customer, and once we are ready to start business with them, usually we convert them into account and contact. So lead, say your company is in the business of selling computers, and from you got a lead from someone, or someone gave a call saying like they are interested in buying some computers from you, then usually you will create it as a lead, and based on further conversations, if you feel that they will be buying computers from you, you will usually convert that lead into account, contact, and potentially an opportunity also. So in this case, let's, at a very high level, we can say that lead is used to represent a potential customers or potential customer. So that's the lead object. Lead has converted contact ID, converted account ID, and converted opportunity ID fields. These fields are actually pointing to contact, account, and opportunity objects once it is converted. But till it is converted, these fields will be empty. At a very high level, keep in mind that leads are used to track potential customers or prospects in Salesforce. Next one is campaign and campaign member. Campaign is used to represent marketing campaigns in Salesforce. Let me just highlight this here. Yeah, these two are the objects that we are talking about. Campaign and campaign members are used to represent different campaigns or marketing events that you can conduct in your company. When you say campaign, a good example will be going to a location or a city, setting up a stall there, and or going to a trade show and setting up a stall there, and talking to people that are coming through there, and trying to get business out of them. That is called a campaign. And under campaign, there can be multiple campaign members. So these are all the people that are coming to that campaign, or the people that you are trying to capture or convert through that campaign. So campaign can be conducted in many ways. One example of a campaign is to gather new leads, and another one example is to market to an existing set of leads. So for example, you have a number of leads and they expressed interest in your product, but they still haven't bought it. And in case if you want to give them a discount and try to convert some of these leads to actual paying customers, you will usually create a campaign and you will add the leads that you want to target as the campaign members, and then you'll be conducting marketing to them. So this campaign member has two lookups. One is to lead and another one is to contact. So basically, a campaign member can be either a lead or a contact, but it cannot, this object, both fields cannot be populated. Only one can be populated at a time. So campaign is a marketing event that you are targeting to gain more customers, and a campaign member is all the contacts or leads that are added to that campaign. So that covers this object also. Then the next object of interest is how the product, price book, and price book entry are related. Usually opportunity is more important, but in order to understand opportunity, you need to first understand how product, price book, and price book entry are configured. So if we go here, you can understand that. Just to consider these objects. So if you consider these objects, you can see that here I think we have a problem. It's the other way. Yeah, here you can see, right? Product is anything that you sell from your company. In the context of the example that I was talking about earlier, if you are selling a number of computers, it will be different models of computers. And a price book is basically a menu card. For example, like a restaurant menu card, it will be the prices of all items, all the products that you are selling. And you might have one difference between a regular restaurant menu card and a price book, or in an enterprise setting, is when you are selling computer to a number of people, you might have a discount to people who are buying it in bulk, and you may not have such discounts to people buying short or a small amount of volume. So usually, or you might have a different price book with a different set of prices for selling in a different country. All these things will be tracked as different price books. For example, you might have a price book for US and another one price book for India. So one good example for a product is say HP computer here, and price book is a good example is US price book or a US wholesale price book, and then the same product can be added to different price books for different prices. So in this case, say I can say like HP computer I am selling in US for $100. The same product is being sold in India for $150 because of tax differences. So these two, there will be two price book entries, one in the US price book and another one in the another one in India price book, and both will be pointing to the same product, but in the price book side it will be pointing to two different products. Sorry, in the price book side it will be pointing to two different price book. So that's how product, price book and price book entry are related. Product represents the products that you're selling in your company. Price book represents the list of prices that you are listing for a product. It can be different for wholesale, retail, and different regions. And for each combination of product to price book, there will be one price book entry. That explains the relation between these objects. Then the next one is opportunity and opportunity products. Opportunity products is the label that you are using, but in the backend API name is opportunity line item. So we'll be using that interchangeably. It's opportunity and opportunity line items if you are talking about the API names. So those two objects are highlighted here. Yeah, if you talk about an opportunity, say some potential customer is giving you a call. Initially you talk to them, you found that they are interested, then you convert them into a contact account and an opportunity, and then you take them through your sales process. So usually big sales happen in multiple steps, right? There will be negotiations, and you might be sending them a quote, and if they don't like it, they might ask for additional discounts, and then you will discuss with your company. Since these are big deals, it doesn't happen like how you go to a shop and buy one thing, right? So opportunity is a potential deal, and it is related to account or the business or the company. Say my computer company is selling computers to a hospital. The hospital will be the account here, and I might have an opportunity like sell 100 HP computers to hospital XYZ. That's how opportunity is related to an account. And opportunity can have multiple line items. So one good example here is in the previous example that I was talking about. If my company is selling computers to a hospital, and I am selling some mouses also with it, there will be two entries here, one for computers and one for a mouse or keyboards. So this is a one-to-many relationship. Under every opportunity there can be one or many opportunity line items or opportunity products, and instead of directly pointing to product, here instead in this opportunity line item we'll be pointing to a price book entry. So the reason is you wouldn't be defining the prices at a product level. Instead you will be defining the individual prices of the product in the price book entry only. This is mainly because in order to accommodate the different prices that you want to give for a single product. You might be selling your computers for a wholesale price or a retail price, and or you might have some preferred customers for whom you are giving computers at a cheaper rate, whereas some unknown customers or new customers you might be giving at higher price. So in this opportunity, you will be having a reference to which price book it is using, and corresponding to that price book and the product combination, you will be picking price book invoice. I hope that made sense. Let's go to next object. That is quote and the quote line item. That is the next two objects in our model. If you see here, you can see that it is quotes are related to opportunity. So in the previous example of a computer company selling 100 computers and some keyboards to a hospital, first you will generate a quote. Say, since it is 100 computers, it might be a big amount, right? So you will probably give the flat prices and send a quote to the company or the hospital, and then they may say like, oh, this price is too high. Since we are buying this many computers, we were hoping for extra discount. They might say like that. So then there might be negotiations, and your computer company might give, say, a 10% discount. So the initial quote that is sent to them will be again updated and send us a separate quote. So this quoting process goes to and fro for some time, and that is represented using quote and quote line item. Similar to opportunity line item, quote line item also can have multiple entries under a quote. So in our example, we might have 100 computers, some keyboards and some mouses in this quote line item, and the quote will be associated with the corresponding opportunity. Also keep in mind that there can be multiple quotes under an opportunity, but only one of those quote can be primary quote. That's how quote and quote line item are related. It's very similar to opportunity and opportunity line item, and you can even mark one of the quote as the primary singing opportunity. Once it is marked as primary singing quote, whatever changes you make to this quote line item will be reflected in the opportunity line item or opportunity product. Similarly, any change to the total amount will be reflecting the opportunity amount also. That's how opportunity line item, quote line item, all these work together. Then the next object is contract. So once you have finished your negotiation and you agree to go ahead with a deal, usually your company signs a contract that is usually represented using the contract object. This is not as frequently used. Usually companies use this in external systems called ERP systems. Usually Salesforce ends their business process with selling or closing a deal, and after that how a contract is signed and when it is shipped, all those things are usually handled in separate systems called ERP systems. But nowadays some companies are using Salesforce for that also. So this contract object is for that purpose. So if you have signed a contract, you will be linking it to that business. In our case, if our company has agreed, if the hospital has agreed to buy 100 computers from us, we will be creating a contract and sending it over to them to sign. So this is where usually e-sign softwares like DocuSign or other e-sign solutions come in the picture. And these contracts are usually related to the account, the business, which is in our case a hospital that is signing the contract. And similarly, keep in mind that when you close an opportunity, if a deal is signed, usually you try to populate that lookup also in opportunity. So there is a contract lookup in opportunity and quote, but usually people don't use these lookups because it's an overkill for some companies, especially if you don't manage your inventory and resources through Salesforce. Also, the next step after contract is order and order products. So that is represented here. So here if you see, once a contract is signed, it is ready to be processed as an order, right? So once a contract is signed, it is a guarantee that they are going to send us the money. So you will be creating an order and order line items. or order items under it. So one order can have multiple order items, and you will be populating the business name also in order, so which business that order is associated with. And order has extra features in Salesforce. This is something that has recently come because more and more companies are trying to manage their sales orders in Salesforce. So you will find some extra settings in setup that you can enable to track orders and the return of an order. Like say you gave 100 computers and 200 keyboards to the hospital, and they returned 100 keyboards back. So Salesforce enables options to track those returns. And another one thing to notice is in order there are more lookups. So I have just represented the relation to account to keep the diagram simple, but it has relation to which price book is used, this object, and which opportunity it is related with, this one, and which code it is related with. So everything will be related here. Then not last but not least are cases and assets. So that is represented here. Yeah, so cases are usually used to represent a service request or an issue, or generally something that you want to track outside any of these other objects. So in our case, say for example you sold these computers to the hospital and they found issues with 2 of those computers, and then they will give you a call, and in case if you are supporting them through service or a maintenance process, you will create it as a case, and this case will be linked to account primarily. And then say there is a point of contact at that company, you are working with someone called Carol in that company, and if she is raising that complaint, you will populate the account lookup to represent which company the case is associated with, and a contact lookup to represent who is the point of contact to reach out to from that company regarding this case. And cases might be referring to assets. So assets basically represent any inventory that you have sold to them, any individual devices that you have sold to them. So in our case, if you have sold 100 computers, you can track those with serial numbers in asset object. And if 2 of them have issues, probably you can populate that in the case object and establish a relation between these 2. So this wraps up the high-level data model of Sales Cloud. So if you search in Google for Sales Cloud objects, you will be able to find this a diagram similar to this. But I have noticed that the Salesforce is skipping some objects here. For example, objects like a price book entry, all these things are really important. But Salesforce is skipping all these things in this diagram. Also, in addition to the objects that we have discussed, there are some objects that are not that relevant. So some good examples are lead status and case status. So these are usually represented as pick list fields in these objects, in lead and case objects. Similarly, there is account contact role, opportunity contact role, such fields. So these are used to represent what role a contact is playing in an account or an opportunity. Say you have some contacts that are working with multiple companies. Usually you use account contact relationship to represent that relation. So but try to go through these objects once again, and if you want to replay the video, try to go through this once again to understand what is meant by each object. It can be little complex when you initially look at high level, but we have gone through each one of these objects. So also note that this one-to-many relation, how the arrow represents. So this base of the arrow represents the child object, or the object that contains lookup to the parent object, and the other side, the pointing head, will be pointing to the parent object. Just to iterate once again the list of all objects, account and contacts are used to represent uh, businesses or companies and individuals in those companies. Lead is used to represent a prospective customer to whom we might be able to sell some products. Campaign and campaign members are used for marketing to some leads or contacts that are in your system. Uh, for example, going to a trade show and trying to market to some people there or collect some leads there. Usually those things are tracked as campaigns. Then product, price book and price book entry are related. Product is any potential product that you are selling, things like an HP computer or a Compaq or a Lenovo computer. And price book is a set of prices for the products you have, and there can be multiple price books depending on the customers you are selling to. There can be a wholesale and a retail price books with different price rates. And a price book entry corresponding to every product and price book combination, there will be a price book entry in that price book. Say in our example, if you are selling HP computers and Compaq computers or Lenovo computers, and the price book, there is a wholesale and retail price book, you can expect two entries for corresponding to both computers in each price book. Then opportunity and opportunity products. Opportunity is used to track a sales deal with a company. It can succeed or fail, but still you track it so that you can run reports on it and later study where it went wrong and what you can improve. So you will be tracking all your sales process through opportunity and different stages of opportunity. And opportunity can have multiple products under it. These are different products that you are selling as part of that sales deal. Then quote and quote line items quote is used to specify the details of the products that you are selling and at what price you are selling. So you will be listing those under a quote and quote line item, and usually you will be generating a PDF quote and sending to them, and there might be to and fro negotiations. So because of that reason, under a single sales deal or a single opportunity, there can be multiple quotes. Then once a quote is agreed by both parties, you will be usually signing a contract. And once a contract is signed, if you are tracking your orders in Salesforce, usually there will be an order and order products in Salesforce. It will be very similar to quote and quote line items or opportunity and opportunity products. It's basically the finalized order and all the products that are sold as part of that order. Then the next one is case and assets. Cases are nothing but service requests related to the products that you sold. Usually if you are in the business of selling products, or if you are in the business of servicing some company, then this will be some customer support requests. And assets are usually used to represent the products that have issue. Assets are used to represent all the products, and if you are linking it from a case, usually it is used to identify which product the customer is complaining about. So that is at a high level all the objects in Sales Cloud and how it is related to each other. I hope this video was useful for you guys. If you are preparing for a Sales Cloud certification, make sure that you are going through all of these subjects and understanding what is the business behind this. I have another one video explaining a real world business scenario, going through a business scenario of how a sale is happening between two companies, and if you relate this object model with the real world scenario, you will be able to relate one to one. Thank you for watching the video. Hope you guys liked it. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel.